guess what? We've read chapter 3, and now we're doing 4. I would give y'all a recap on everything that happened, but I have the memory of a goldfish, so I think I recorded it like 20 minutes ago. Ooh, no spoilers. But let's just get right into it. But before we do that, I recommend putting it on 1.25 times speed because you can still hear it. You can still listen, understand all the words, even if you're looking away and can't read it. You can use captions. Captions would help because it will move the text every once in a while because the text would get out of the screen, so I have to move it. So it'll just clip to another spot and you might not see it, so you might get lost. So captions would really help if you want to turn that on as well. And let's get into chapter 4. Chapter 4. Night had settled over the town by the time we reached the top of the mountain trail. The wind had a bite to it, cool against my skin, and the cliffside below disappeared into darkness. Stars stretched across the sky, more than I'd ever noticed before, glittering cold and distant. Pip slept quietly in the basket we'd carried along the path, wrapped tightly in the blanket I barely trusted to keep him warm enough. Ethan, of course, was complaining within the first 5 minutes. My legs hurt. Why do we even have to climb this thing? Who decided this was a good idea? He said, rubbing his calves. I ignored him, walking steadily, boots crunching against loose rock. We're climbing because I said so, I muttered, and because it's quiet up here. Quiet is important. Yeah, he groaned, dragging one foot like it weighed 100 pounds. Quiet is always super boring, especially when I'm about to collapse. Stop complaining, I said, not looking at him. You'll make me lose my mind, he snorted. Oh, Fern, you're terrifying when you're quiet and angry. That's my favorite part of you. I froze for half a second, heat rising in my cheeks, but kept walking. That's not a compliment, I muttered. I know, he said, lagging a step behind, but grinning anyway. Just pointing it out. You don't need me to explain it. How much farther? Keep going. I'm tired. Then keep going slower. Don't die. Can I take a break? Yes, just one. He'd slumped down on a rock for 30 seconds before he was up again, whining in exaggerated misery. I kept my hands in my pockets, shoving down the urge to scold him, shoving down the urge to admit that part of me liked his persistence, liked the way he refused to let me stay angry for too long. When we finally reached the top, he flopped onto the ground like a rag doll, arms behind his head, eyes staring at the sky. Ah, finally, he sighed. Worth it, totally worth it. You know, I see a bear up there. Or maybe it's a dog. Or a dragon. Definitely a dragon. You see dragons in the stars? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral, feeling the tension in my shoulders loosen just a little. Only the good nights, he said, smiling lazily. Sometimes they're flying, sometimes they're just staring down at me, judging my legs. I sat down carefully, a few feet away. Pip tucked safely beside me in the basket. The silence stretched between us, but it wasn't heavy. It wasn't empty. It was quiet in a way that didn't threaten. It was quiet in a way I hadn't realized I'd been craving. Ethan jabbed a finger toward the sky. See that clustered? Looked like a fox. No, maybe a rabbit. Wait, yeah, a rabbit. With wings. Definitely wings. That's a new constellation. I call it Fernlix Fury. I raised an eyebrow, lips twitching. Don't be ridiculous. I am ridiculous, he admitted, grinning. But it's fun, and you're fun too. Even when you're mad. Even when you yell at me and throw sketchbooks. I stared at him, and for a moment, the anger that usually shimmered inside me, the edge that made me push people away, faded like mist in the morning sun. I couldn't explain it, but I let myself relax. I could breathe. The stars were endless, the wind soft against my cheeks. Pip safe, Edson ridiculous but comforting, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled without meaning to. A real smile, quiet, small, but unafraid. Don't get used to it, I said softly, almost to myself. What? He asked, with one eye half-lidded in curiosity. This. Feeling calm, I said. He tilted his head, grinning. Good, because I'm not leaving anytime soon. I glanced at him. Maybe I thought some people can't be pushed away. Maybe some people are meant to sit beside you on top of a mountain, pointing at stars and naming dragons and rabbits with wings, and you just accept them. I guess that's okay, I admitted, letting a laugh slip out. It sounded strange to my own ears, lighter than I expected. He laughed too, and the sound didn't irritate me. Instead, it felt easy, safe even. The wind blew cold over us, but I didn't mind. Pip murmured in his sleep, stretching one tiny hand, and I reached down to touch it gently. The stars above glimmered like they were watching, or maybe waiting, and for once, I didn't think about the bell. I didn't think about losing things. I didn't think about the anger or pain. I thought only about this quiet moment, the calm, the absurdity of Ethan pointing at constellations he invented, and the fact that I had made a new friend, whether I agreed to it or not. And that, I realized, was more terrifying and more beautiful than the bell could ever take. That was chapter 4. Was that my longest chapter? I don't think that was my longest chapter, I think. Wait, I think my first chapter is the longest out of the first 4. Yeah, I think so. But that was it for this one. The next one will probably be posted in like 10 minutes to an hour. Just hang in there and be patient, and bye-bye.